Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the Salescast Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we are on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
Hey there, it's Larry, and I'm thrilled to share something incredibly close to my heart. My latest book, Selling in a Post-Trust World, is now available. In today's landscape where trust is harder to come by than ever, I've poured my years of experience into these pages to guide you through connecting genuinely and building lasting relationships with your customers. This book is more than just strategies. It's about transforming the way you sell by being authentic, real, and trustworthy in every interaction. It's for those who believe that integrity and sales can go hand in hand, and for anyone looking to not just meet their quotas, but to truly make a difference in their customers' lives. If you're ready to elevate your sales game and navigate the complexities of selling in a world where skepticism is the norm, Selling in a Post-Trust World is your must-read guide. And here's the best part. Even though it won't hit the bookstores until this summer, you can get your hands on an advanced reader's copy right now. Just head over to sellinginapostrustworld.com or click the link in the show notes, and let's embark on this journey together towards more meaningful, trust-based selling.
Hello and welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
Hey, by the way, great seeing you. What isn't going on? We have all kinds of things going on here at Selling from the Heart, don't we, Darrell?
And right here in the studio today, we got Niraj Kapur. Get ready for an amazing conversation. And Larry, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the audience who is spreading the word about selling in a post-trust world. This book is catching fire already. It's not even released. We're actually, as if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that our listeners can get their hands on an advanced reader's copy, something that normally is only available to other authors and people in endorsed books. But it is catching fire, and it's so fun seeing the people holding up the book on social all over the place.
You know, first of all, I'm grateful to everyone who's grabbed a copy of the, Selling in a Post-Trust World. What just amazes me is how many people are following through and actually posting selfies. It's great. We've captured them all. I appreciate you. This book is just going to transform how you think about building trust in a post-trust world.
So if you want to get your advanced readers edition, and it is an actual autographed advanced readers edition, this is super cool. All you got to do is go to sellinginapostrustworld.com, links in the show notes, and get your advanced readers edition. And what's happening right now is this is just continuing to spread this movement of authenticity right here in this profession that we all love. Well, today we are joined again by returning guest Niraj Kapur, a renowned sales coach, a LinkedIn top voice, a TEDx speaker, and a best-selling author with a career that has taken him from corporate sales in London to coaching startups and entrepreneurs globally. Niraj has transformed the traditional sales approach. He advocates for understanding and meeting clients' needs through building strong relationships, not just pushing products. His personal journey of rebuilding after significant setbacks is reflected in his work, including his hit book, Everybody Works in Sales, which reached Amazon's top 100 multiple times. Today, he's going to share how effective sales strategies and being authentic can lead to business growth as well as personal fulfillment. Niraj, welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. It's awesome to have you here again.
Darrell and Larry, thank you so much. I think it must have been at least 3.5, 4 years.
It's been a minute.
Serious? It's been that long? But here's what's interesting. It feels like you and I talk all the time, doesn't it? It's just the power of social. It's like we're talking constantly, at least multiple times a week, just not face to face. It's just usually through social.
Yeah, we're also with book recommendations for each other and things like that, and new insights and new ideas. And yes, it was 2020, 4 years ago, because I distinctly remember you sending me the most beautiful thank you card in the post. And that's when I was living in England. And I still have that thank you card because that really meant a lot to me. So thank you.
It's all good.
I love it. I love it. Well, Niraj, as we get started, you know the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart answers, and I can't wait to hear your answer today to what does it mean to you, Niraj, to sell from the heart?
Selling from the heart is always meant to me to serve more people. And I've always thought that, but you know what? I want to add a bit more to that. Selling from the heart is also helping people who can't necessarily help you. So a good example of that is at least 3 times a week, I'll see somebody who's lost their job on LinkedIn. And I'll reach out to that person and say, you know what? I've been where you've been. It's an awful situation to be in. I've had a look at your LinkedIn profile and there's things we can do to make improvements. Happy to have a 20-minute call. And P.S., you won't go into my sales funnel, smiley face. And for me, that is selling from the heart.
Yeah, and you know what, and you ooze selling from the heart, and I just think we need more of it, and it just goes back to here what we call it selling from the heart, just giving a rip. If you give a rip about people, amazing things start to happen, but it's shining the light on them, not shining the light on you.
Oh, 100%. I did something recently, and I'm a great believer in A/B testing. So I spent 10 years at Marketing Week in London. So in marketing, you're always taught, test things. And I sent out the LinkedIn Easy Guide to Sales. Now, this is not available on Amazon. It's not available on my website. It's just a 19-page PDF, which I created for my existing customers just to give them value. And while I was there, I thought, you know what? There's about 40 people I've worked with in the last 2 years. Why don't I send them a copy as well? Again, not a mass-produced copy and paste, but an individual, personalized PDF copy to each person. And I got the results here before this. So 40 copies sent out. 12 people so far have said thank you. One of them called me and he's now become a customer again. And the second one emailed me to say, that is amazing. Can you come in for some LinkedIn training? That is just me giving value, sharing insights for my journeys to LinkedIn HQ, sharing advice that will help in sales. That's all. And as a result of doing that, you win business long term. And that for me really is selling from the heart.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, this is this heart of being a servant and especially being of service to someone who can't help you back. Like that is taking things to another level. And I love your heart behind this, Niraj. And it's so super encouraging. You've been on a journey. This past year of your life has been quite a journey. We alluded to it in the introduction. And, and I think today would be really, really awesome to have a conversation about the personal journey that you've been on inside your career. And I know this is going to be super encouraging to many, many people in our audience. Niraj, fill us in. What's been going on in the last year with you and in your journey inside professional and the personal world that kind of has collided?
Well, it's fascinating because when we first spoke in 2020, I'd been through a traumatic divorce. Lockdown had happened. I wasn't coping with life. And I put all everything I owned in storage in England, moved back home with my parents. Now, if you're a grown man in your 40s and you have to move countries to live with your parents, it's not a good sign. I'll tell you what, quite often the worst thing that can happen to you is the best thing that can happen to you. And I got a chance to rebuild my life, be with my parents for 18 months. And I'm so lucky and so grateful that I was able to do that I had the smartness to invest in myself, that my father got me books on philosophy and faith, 2 things most salespeople don't know very little about. And that really got my mindset into gear. I rebuilt my life, and 2022 and 2023 were the best years of my career, and I'm so grateful for that. 2024, things took a bit of a tumble in an unexpected way. Things were going on in my brain, which I couldn't quite understand. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And I found myself, for someone with such a strong mindset, getting triggered very easily. I live in Northern Ireland now. And although Irish people are very nice people when they've had a few drinks, doing business in the north of Ireland is very different to the rest of the UK. Very different. And I'm used to working in London, which is multicultural. People of different diversities, ethnicities coming together. It's wonderful. And in Northern Ireland, it's just a sea of white faces. And every time I talk to people about having myself as a speaker at these events, I get ignored. And that upsets me, because in Northern Ireland, people will hire their friends rather than people who can do the job properly, which ironically is a lot like politics, but that's how it
Different
works.
podcast.
Different podcast. But I find myself getting really triggered and upset about this, really depressed, thinking I'm getting constantly rejected. I'm the only LinkedIn top voice here. I'm a TEDx speaker. I've written 3 books, 2 of which went big internationally. I speak around the world, and I can't even get a speaking slot at a local conference. Nobody will even acknowledge my existence. And that really upset me. And I found myself getting really upset. And a few friends of mine who are counselors said, we're convinced you have ADHD. And a few of them said, we think you have autism as well. So I got tested, and unfortunately ADHD went off the scale. And I went and saw my GP, and I went and saw a counselor, and he goes, by the way, you definitely have autism as well. We're convinced about it. And because my nephew is 11 years old, non-verbal autistic, he's special needs in a special needs school. He only stopped wearing a nappy 6 months ago. He's 11 years old. The word autism is a very strong word in our family. We've really had to kind of cope and come to terms with taking care of a child 24 hours a day. And it's brought tremendous stress in our family, but at the same time, tremendous love. That my beautiful, beautiful cousin, he's a great kid. Sorry, my beautiful nephew, great kid. And it's been a tremendous learning experience. But at the same time, the word autism terrifies me, because that's what I think of autism. And at the same time, the people I know who have ADHD, they also have insomnia. They all have various meds and prescription meds they're on. And most of them don't live really healthy lives. And I went to major panic mode, and my brain melted. And that profoundly affected my business, because I stopped prospecting and I lost a lot of my confidence.
And this is interesting. So this is real world stuff. And what you're sharing with us is why we just really believe this, that if you want to achieve greater levels of success outwardly, you got to look inside. You have to. And hey, thank you for sharing, because what you just shared resonates with me, deeply, because what you just shared, we're walking through here in my family as well. And I applaud you for it. But the first word that comes to mind is mask wearing. And the reason why I'm going down this road, Niraj, is we all wear masks, but when we can really unpack who we are, we can remove some of those. And I know you've gone through that. You've gone through it immensely. Is just walk us through what you're starting to learn about yourself. That's because there's a word I just keep going back to, is confidence. And if we can go inward to really unpack who we are and why we do what we do, this helps build our confidence.
Well, one of the things I loved most, there's quite a number of things I love from your book, Selling from the Heart. And I've gifted so many copies of that to my clients in 2021, 2022, because it's that good a book. And you talk about self-awareness. Yeah. And self-awareness is one of the most important things you can have. But here's the thing, in 2022 and 2023, I was so proud of myself because I was so self-aware. But in 2024, I kind of stopped reading philosophy. I stopped reading Stoicism. I thought, because there's always a danger. You think, well, how much more can I really learn? And you have to understand you're always learning, and you're always getting better, and you're always having to progress. Because if you don't do that, you're in serious trouble. And when you have something going on, it's very important to acknowledge it, not to panic, and to ask for help. And by the way, the same rules go in sales as well. At the moment, 75% of sales reps are not hitting target. That's a shockingly high number. And yet when I ask most of them what they're doing, they blame their managers. They blame the company commission structure. But very few of them are self-aware enough to actually invest in a coach to help them. I mean, I find that incredible. So really becoming self-aware is key. Asking for help is key. I invested in a counselor, which was very important. I pay every week for that. And I also understood my triggers and what triggers me and what upsets me. And, unfairness triggers me. Not being included and not being respected triggers me. Because as human beings, we all want to have our voices heard. And when you believe you've got to a certain position in life where you've made all these achievements and people are still not recognizing them, internationally people do. I mentioned to you in the pre-chat, I've been to Dublin last week. It was amazing. They were so welcoming. I was in London the week before. It was incredible. I was a judge at the Women Leader Awards. I was speaking about LinkedIn. It was just incredible. Whereas in the small town in Ireland where I live, I get rejected all the time. And it's about acknowledging that. And I was told something very important, which is you cannot control the outcomes. You can only control the inputs. And that's one of the most valuable lessons that I wish I learned 30 years ago. Only that I really understand now is I have zero control over the outcomes, but I have all the sort of awareness and control over the effort I put in, but also how I react to things that come my way.
I wish I had a source for this quote that this is reminding me of, and maybe we can look it up later. But someone really wise once said, measure your life not by the wine drunk, but by the wine poured forth. And I really see that in your heart in all of this. You know, one of the things I think, Niraj, that's so inspirational to me about you is when some of this stuff started to surface in your life, you, as we talked about before we hit the record button, you dove into the habit of self-improvement. You dove into the habit of working on yourself. Talk to us a little bit about what that looked like and how that turned out to be such a powerful thing for you this year, even.
One of the most important things you can do, if anybody listening to the podcast, I'm holding up my mobile. Turn this off, okay? You'll be amazed how much good things you get done. When the worst comes to worst, at least put it on vibrate 3 times a day. But, you know, I have this turned off 3 times a day. And it helps me focus and it helps me think. And young people, when I tell this to them, you'd think I just beat them up or something. They freak out. No, man, this is part of my world. It's part of my life. It's part of my limbs. I'm like, dude, calm down, okay?
Yeah.
You know, turn your phone off. It's amazing. The second thing is there's no saying success leaves clues. And, you know, when people like Warren Buffett and some of the most successful people in the world say it's very important to spend half an hour to 40 minutes a day just thinking in peace and quiet, then that is what you should be doing. Doesn't matter how busy you are in your 9-to-5 role or as a business owner. You know, everybody has 1 hour for lunch. I'm a great believer in taking as much of that time off as possible. And most days I will go for a walk and I will meditate for 15, 20 minutes. It's very hard to get hold of me over lunch because I need that time to myself to prepare myself for the afternoon and the evening as well. So, you know, for me, I'm all about pacing myself. It's so important. So, you know, be aware of technology, ask for help, have moments of quiet throughout the day where you can think. This is so key. And, you know, ask advice. I spoke to Larry about 3 weeks ago. I contacted him saying, what books are you reading? A fascinating conversation. We're both massive book readers because the more you learn, the more you earn. And we started talking about faith. And that wasn't a journey I expected us to go in, but it was a fascinating journey because now I'm in my 50s, faith is more important to me. Not in a deeply religious way, just in a spiritual awareness way and a gratitude way. We started having this fascinating conversation about faith and the importance of faith in sales. And I'm like, we're onto something here. I'm not sure what it is, but we're definitely onto something here. So again, people should really have more faith when it comes to sales as well and finding a higher power in something other than a commission check.
Oh boy, this is so good. And I want to go back to the conversation that Niraj and I had because I'm going to loop Darrell into this as well. Is we got in this whole conversation because Niraj was asking me, you know, what books are you reading? And what was interesting is all the books I was reading, and I still read, and Darrell knows this, are all leadership books, mindset books, and faith-based books. And I will tell you this, and hats off to Darrell because Darrell's led me, though he may not know it, but Darrell's led me on this big faith journey, and it's been the best thing that's happened to me because it's gotten my mind and my heart right. And I want us to stop and think about this because sales, right? We can make it easy as we want, but we can make it as difficult as we want. And the reason I'm bringing this up is the transformational journey that Niraj has been on, that I've been on, I know Darrell's been on, has all been based on how we work on ourselves and what we feed our brains with. And if you can feed your brains with mindset books, faith-based books, spirituality books, it does something to your heart that a sales book can't do.
That's good, Larry. And this is just like a moment to almost feel like we should pause and just think about this for a moment. But this is a talk show, so silence is awkward. I love this conversation. And Niraj, I want to go back to what you said earlier. I know many people in our audience are, have experience with ADHD, either personally or in their family or with coworkers. This is a new part of your journey with that awareness. I'm curious, what are you discovering about yourself in this journey? What are you learning? What's been happening as you've began to unpack that in your life and in your career?
The most important thing for me was to not see it as a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And, if in doubt, I turn to books a lot. And I started reading, my therapist recommended some great books. The Scattered Minds by Gabor Mate, which is very good. The School of Life was a very tough book to read by Alain de Botton, but a very important book. But the one for me was Peter Shankman, Faster Than Normal. And it's about how you can use ADHD as a superpower in business. And I love that. And that's what I've been doing. And I think it's a very important mindset shift to take yourself from, this is not going to hurt me and control me. I'm going to use this to my advantage. Mm-hmm. It's like when you go into the sales floor each day and you have one or two attitudes. You can do, I hate this job. I don't want to do it. I need the commission. I'll spam as many people as I can. Or you go in with a positive attitude is, I'm going to help as many people today as possible. That will make your job much more enjoyable, and it will make your clients and prospects' lives better, which in turn makes your life better. So mind shift is absolutely key. And I wish more people would think about their minds when it comes to sales. They don't think about it enough. I think often in sales, we think about the wrong measures and the wrong KPIs. And instead of thinking of, I must make 50 calls a day, or I must spend 2 hours on the phone, how about I must impact 5 people a day? Or I must just share insight with my customers that maybe nobody else is sharing with them. Mm-hmm. Or maybe I'm going to send a birthday card to my client today. Because again, very few people do this. My clients pick up the phone and call me on their birthdays, by the way, because I send a birthday card in the post. Sometimes I'll send a present as well, but they always get a birthday card with this pen, which I handwrite. And I don't just go, happy birthday, Larry, best wishes, Niraj. I go, Larry, want to wish you a happy birthday. I'll mention the name of a cat or a dog or a child or a partner if I happen to know that, which in most cases I do. If not, I'll mention their favorite soccer team, or I'll at least mention something so they know it's not a copy and paste effort. Mm-hmm. And that'll take me a few minutes to think about and write. But again, it's the effort. You don't have to reach as many people as possible. You just have to make a positive impact on those you're working with.
Oh, I really, really like this stuff. I want to go back to this mindset, if we can, just for a moment, and walk us through or coach us through somebody who's struggling with this, right? They go, hey, I'm buying into this, but I'm having a hard time kind of, what do I do? How do I start? So somebody who's walking through this going, I get this, but, and we can fill in the blanks with that. Just walk us through, what are a couple simple things that somebody could put forth to start seeing that shift in their mindset?
Okay, seeing a shift in your mindset, there's a number of things. First of all, self-awareness is one of the most important skills to have in sales, and yet it's one of the skills most lacking. So by self-awareness, I mean keep a journal of your day, have a look at your good habits, have a look at your bad habits. So for example, I wake up in the morning, I don't look at my mobile for the first 60 minutes. This is really important. It's about me. It's about gratitude. It's about getting my body moving. It's about affirmations. It's about reading something valuable. This happens every day, 6 days a week, no matter what. At lunchtime every day, turn my phone off, go for a walk, I review my morning. No matter what has happened, I look at things from an incredibly positive perspective, and I look at what I can improve and do better. And every evening before bed, I spend 10 minutes writing in a gratitude journal about what's been my wins today, but also what can I improve. Now, you might think, whoa, that's a lot of time and effort. Yes, it is. but that's deliberate. Yeah. And I do that for a reason, because I want to better myself. Yeah. The more in control I am of my mind and my behavior and my actions, the better I know I'll become, not only in my job and sales, but also my life serving others.
Oh, it's so good.
I love this idea of taking a halftime during the day. I mean, think of the sports. We'll think of American football, for example. There's halftime in a football game here because the team needs to go catch their breath and readjust and get ready for the last half of the game. What a brilliant idea to do over lunchtime. And we talk a lot at Selling from the Heart about what we do in the morning. We talk about how we end our day by planning the next day. But I love this idea of taking lunch and turning the phone off for an hour and working through, okay, where are we? It's almost like you could get 2 days of focus into one day. That's really cool, Niraj.
No, thank you. And certainly now I'm in my 50s. I don't really have even though I have a lot of energy at my age, I don't really enjoy working 12 to 14 hours a day. I don't get the same. I still love what I do.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that anymore. Yeah. And, while I was away traveling, I was doing about 10 or 11 hours a day. And that's hard work plus traveling. Mm-hmm. But I make the most of every moment. I really do. And you need to have time to think. And after each meeting, I always allow myself a bit of time before a client meeting just to go, okay, how did the last meeting go? Did it work well? What did you do well? Well done. Speak a bit slower. I know you get excited now. I should speak a bit slower and enjoy this. Okay. I'm really proud of you. And your own self-talk is very important because when I go away from home, I'm away for 3 or 4 nights. I'm staying in a hotel. I'm not with a bunch of guys or my friends. I'm by myself. And the way you talk to yourself is so important. And I'm always surprised how many people put themselves down or call themselves stupid or say these silly things about themselves. Whereas I am the opposite. I'm like, you know what? I've been through so much in my life and I'm so proud of what you've achieved, Niraj. You've been through so much and you're going to go into this meeting and you're going to give as much value to this client as possible. And I'm so proud of you. And just that little 10 to 15 seconds, that's all it is so important to your attitude and your behavior and your body posture and your energy. Again, I rarely hear salespeople talking about these things. Business owners get it because we invest so much in ourselves and really top salespeople do. But majority of salespeople don't think about their energy, their attitude, their body posture, or the language they use when they're meeting somebody. So a salesperson will often talk to me the same way they will to their friends. I'm like, no, you don't. I don't talk to the CEO the same way I talk to an HR director. An HR director, you speak about people and staff needs. A CEO, you talk about market share or legacy or increasing against the competition. Or it's a different conversation. A financial director, you talk about making money or cutting costs. In fact, you talk about cutting costs to financial director. They get bonuses in that. You have to understand the language of the person you're speaking to. That's very important.
Hey, before we wrap up, there is something in what you just said over the last couple of minutes that's massively powerful. This has been an amazing conversation, but I want us to all, you're welcome. I want us to all collectively think about this for a moment. In the world that we live in today, where some of our meetings are virtual, some of them are face-to-face, we're running and we're gunning from one meeting to another. Because if there's white space in our calendars, then sometimes people go, well, what am I doing? However, if you can press pause and not go back to back to back with meetings, but give yourself some ample time to pause, to clear your head, to debrief, to reflect, to re-energize, I promise you that next conversation will be much more impactful. I loved what you just said the last couple of minutes. It's so relevant.
Yeah, I mean, everything I talk about from experience.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm only 6 years. I spent 23 years working in sales, but I'm only 6 years into my business owner's journey. And realistically, the first year I didn't know what I was doing. The second year I was getting divorced, which sucked. The third year was lockdown, which sucked even bigger. So it's only really year 4 I started making profit and really sort of understanding what it's like running a business. And year 4 and year 5 were the best ever. And year 6 started off very challenging this year because of the ADHD and the autism. But now I've turned a corner and I'm going back up again, which is really important. So it just goes to show when you have challenges in life, you can turn things around. You really and truly can. But at the same time, you can't turn things around with a negative mindset. And you can't turn things around from a place of anger or frustration. and you can't turn things around from a place of cynicism. This is very important. And this isn't all woo-woo stuff. I'm just saying when challenges come your way, dealing with them from a place of calm, dealing with a positive attitude, asking for help, this is what's going to help you move in the right direction.
I love it. Niraj, what a great conversation. I know all of our listeners have one burning question in their mind right now, and that is, how do I get more Niraj in my life?
I'd be really impressed if all your listeners were thinking that right now.
Well, they are now, because I just brought the topic up.
Stop.
Well, nirajkapur.com is my website, or you can go to LinkedIn. Either or works absolutely fine. But if you are going to go on LinkedIn, please send me a personalized invite, because I reject generic invites. I have no interest in generic relationships. So I reject all generic invites. Please don't send me. Say you heard me or you saw me on Selling from the Heart, and I will happily accept your invite.
Super cool.
Hey, I'm so
Niraj,
grateful for you hanging out with us. This has been an awesome conversation.
No, it's an absolute pleasure, Larry. Always a great joy to see you and Darrell. I cannot wait to buy your new book as well. I'm so excited, and I'll promote it like crazy as much as I can on social media.
You're awesome. Thank you.
You rock. Thank you so much, Niraj. We appreciate you, man. It's good. What an amazing conversation. Once again, you knew it was going to be great, but there was this got, look, this is the inner work. We say this at Selling from the Heart. You wrote about this in Selling from the Heart. We talk about it all the time. The inner work is really, really critical. And I think what Niraj said at the end about things like cynicism, negativity, bad self-talk, all of these things, anger, frustration, all of these things that, look, there's all number of events that can happen in any given day, week, month, or quarter as a sales professional or sales leader that can, that can trigger these types of emotions, but these are not helpful. It's really, really important what goes on between our ears and in our hearts as sales professionals.
Yeah, 100%. And it's why I really believe the stories in our head become the stories of our lives. Mm-hmm. And it's what stories are you telling yourself? And I'm just going to say, I've been guilty of it, right? I've been guilty of the negative self-talk and the comparison and all of that. Mm-hmm. That's just fate. That's just part of being human. It's just part of being human. But what's really helped is going inward and paying attention to what I read and what I put into my head, what I put into my heart. That has been a huge factor. I encourage everyone, whether you're a sales leader or sales professional, pay attention to what you put into your head and your heart.
So good. Well, hey, thank you to everybody who has bought and is buying Selling a Post-Trust World, the Advanced Readers Edition, especially the ones of you who are holding it up and smiling on social. It's so fun to see. And you can go get your advanced readers copy, and you can actually get multiple copies if you have a sales team, or maybe you've got a whole division of your company. You'd like to gift them a gift that would help them drive success and fulfillment. sellinginaposttrustworld.com. It's actually special offers on bulk orders. So we're so excited to get this out to the world. I'm also excited, Larry, about the guests that are coming up throughout the summer and on into the fall. So you better like or subscribe to this podcast, because you don't want to miss what's coming up.
No, absolutely. Again, we're grateful to everybody. This doesn't happen without your support. The community's rising, whether it's from Selling from the Heart or Selling in a Post-Trust World. We thank you. Without you, this doesn't all exist.
So till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, do the inner work, and most of all,
sell from the heart.